All good. Okay, we're going to roll straight into questions for Kyle, and we will start with our first question from Bob Hawkers. Go ahead, Bob. All right, Bob, can you hear us?
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're all good. Go ahead.
Yeah. First, Kyle, can you talk about or just how much have you been meeting with Ben over the last month and to just kind of get acclimated to each other again?
Yeah, we've been meeting periodically here and there, talking on the phone a little bit here and there as well too. So I've had my fair share of seat fittings here this off season just to kind of get everything kind of back in order, back where I wanted it, and to feel comfortable and stuff like that. So he was a part of each and every one of those, and just being down on the floor, being with some of the guys and kind of intermingling and mixing in with what all we were doing and had going on. So, besides just kind of side talk on that front, we obviously talked about a lot of different things that we did do well and didn't do well last year as far as the 18 team goes. So I kind of led him into my aspect of what I thought. I know also that, he's obviously been in constant contact with Adam as well too, with their relationship. Obviously Adam hired him on, brought him on years ago in 2015 when I got Adam as my crew chief on the Cup side. So, there's been a lot of things that those guys have been working on, and the engineering groups and stuff going back and forth on how to prepare for this year.
And kind of the annual Daytona Media Day question, Indy 500, did you try? Is there a possibility for this year, or is that further down the road?
Yeah, no, that's further down the road. That's on the back burner. Haven't had any discussions with anybody, and don't foresee that being possible. And to me, it wouldn't make sense either until everything's kind of all back to normal and you get the whole big hoopla of what that event's really all about. So, I really enjoyed seeing my brother do it, and obviously he had success, and Fernando Alonso. And last year, it just kind of seemed like, the Indy 500 ran, but it was kind of a lost Indy 500, if you will. So we'll wait till things get back to normal.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Lee Spencer. Go ahead, Lee.
Super, and thank you for your time, Kyle. You have been, I guess you're the winningest current driver at Bristol, so tell me what you think about the dirt situation and what have you done to prepare? It looks like you've spent more time with your son racing on dirt than you yourself.
Yeah, so, I think it's an interesting play. I think it's definitely an interesting opportunity to go run on dirt. I've obviously been on dirt when I was a kid, running some Legends cars and Dwarf cars and modifieds. And, it was a while till I got back on dirt, which was with the Prelude races at Eldora, and was pretty successful there. Finished second, third. I won one. So, there was some good runs there that I had running at the Prelude. So I would be way more optimistic about it and way more looking forward to it, I think, if it was in a real full-fledged dirt car rather than the Cup cars. I just don't know that our big, heavy stock cars are cut out and made for the dirt profile. So that's my opinion. But, the tire also is not conducive to the dirt surface very well. And so it's just to me, from my understanding, from talking to some of the other drivers that have run the Eldora truck race the last few years, well, since it started, is you're pretty much holding on the whole time, praying you're not going to spin out or crash. And that to me doesn't sound like a very fun time, although it is entertaining to watch.
You introduced your first Rowdy athlete, I guess, on the World of Outlaws side. Kevin Harvick was talking earlier about what his plans are for Keelan as far as bringing him up through the racing ranks. Are you more interested in taking Braxton the dirt route?
For me, I feel like there's a play there. Obviously, the Rowdy Energy play is not only a sponsorship play, but also a B2B play with Brian Brown and Casey's General Stores. So we've got a relationship going there with those guys. So we're real optimistic about that opportunity. And Brian and what he can do in the World of Outlaw ranks for us, also in the ASOC ranks as well too, just the sprint car world, if you will. We had great success with Rico and we're working on some things to maybe continue to partner with Rico here this year. So there's a lot of different things that we're working on with the Rowdy Energy banner. But you know, as far as it relates to Braxton and what his future plans are, I'm not sure exactly. Obviously, it just kind of feels right with you know, the path that we're on. You know, you can go quarter midgets, you can go these outlaw karts, and it seems like these outlaw karts have kind of picked up and taken off a little bit. It'd be nice if there was even more tracks that would run these outlaw karts around our area. We've got you know, Millbridge, Mountain Creek, 304 Speedway that we run around here just within a two and a half hour radius of Charlotte. But you know, we've also ventured out and gone to Missouri during the winter time in order to run indoors. But that's just what he can do right now. So is he going to be a dirt racer? Is that going to be his path? No. You know, to me, I feel like that's just where we are right now. That's where we can be right now. I don't think you can run Bandoleros until you're 8. And then you can't run Legends cars until you're 10 or 11 with Bandolero experience. So we got time. You know, that's just kind of where we started with where he's at right now.
Thank you for your time. Good luck this year.
You got it. Thanks.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Edgar Thompson. Go ahead, Edgar.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Kyle. Your brother said earlier this week you're more fired up than ever. Is there a heightened sense of determination maybe coming off a 1-win season, given your incredible success during your career?
Not really, no. I mean, for me, I've had 1-win seasons before. I think it's been twice or 3 times actually. So, you know, fortunately for me though, the following seasons we've kind of come back and we've been able to win 3, 4, 5, 8, whatever times it's been in those following seasons. So to me, you know, obviously being with the new crew chief, that's going to be an interesting play. The other interesting play is still going to be the fact of no practice and what we can do and what we can get done with simulation in the simulator and that sort of stuff in order to be best prepared for when we get to these races. But you know, the whole 18 M&M's team with Ben and Nate and all my guys, the new guys, essentially, you know, it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to, but also there's not a whole lot of time for us to get used to one another, working with one another at the racetrack. It's just get in and go, you know. So it'll be interesting to see how all that plays out. But I wouldn't say I'm any more fired up or anything than any other year getting started. To me, I mean, obviously, I feel like when you to me, it's always a 5-win season is a good win season. That's always kind of been my number of what you should have. And if you're ever short of that, then hopefully there's years in which you're past that. Your 7-win seasons, your 8-win seasons, whatever, in order to kind of rebuild up those years that you were short on wins. So I feel like I'm probably behind the 8 ball, not having as many 5-win seasons as I would like to have had through my career. So there's definitely some catching up to do. That's for sure.
And the other thing is you're a guy who gets to the track and does a lot of trial and error and stuff, from what I was told. Was last year more challenging maybe for you and your team because of your philosophy there?
Yeah, absolutely. No, there's no question about that. You know, I feel like my team, Adam especially, you know, they always do a really good job of preparing and getting the best prepared race car they can to the racetrack. But sometimes you just don't quite read the exact information or you pick up on the exact information that you need to in simulation, because the simulation can't tell you what the car is doing. If it's bouncing off the tire, if it's sliding the tire, it can't tell you how the car is reacting to the tire, to the racetrack. And so I'm the best computer we got, you know what I mean? So having me be able to be behind the wheel and to transcribe and describe what is happening in that race car during practice sessions is pivotal. And we just didn't have that last year. We didn't have that opportunity last year. So we had to resort to different circumstances in order to make ourselves better. And, you know, we just kind of fell short on that, I feel like. So that's kind of what I was talking to with Bob earlier, was just, you know, there's kind of had to be a new philosophy thought up, if you will. And I feel like that's kind of gone across the board at JGR, not necessarily just myself and Ben, and Adam's going to do the same thing that he did last year with me, with Christopher Bell. I think there's a whole new group and opportunity for us to kind of think things through differently.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question will come from Kelly Crandall. Go ahead, Kelly.
Thanks, Amanda. Hey, Kyle. I wanted to get an understanding of what the makeup of your team is, because Bell had said a couple weeks ago that not only did Adam move over to work with him, but some engineers went as well. So how many new people are you working with, and what kind of a challenge is that for you? Have you been in that position before, working with a few new team members?
Yeah, so last time this all went down was 2015. You know, when I had Dave Rogers, we were transitioning from Dave in 2014 to Adam in 2015. Adam, obviously, he brought in kind of a whole new group of guys besides the car chief. Nate Bellows is the car chief, and same thing kind of happened again, where Adam went over to Christopher Bell, took all of his guys, you know, the number 1, number 2 engineer, the interior guy, the shop guy, the front end mechanic, the underneath guy, everybody, the whole team stayed with Adam besides Nate. Nate and I, we've kind of had a working relationship over the years, and so he and I have stuck together again. So Ben brings in himself, and he's working with the number 20 team engineer from last year, which was Eric Jones' engineer with Chris Gale. And then the number 2 engineer as well too from that group. And then pretty much all the guys are the 20 guys as well too. So I kind of feel like I got fired from the 18 car and moved over to the 20 guys, you know, with the way everything kind of played out, how it looks in the shop. And they got the hauler. I have a new hauler. They kept the surface plate. I got a new surface plate. So there's this whole thing mentally in my head that, you know, I kind of got fired and rehired. So maybe that'll hold true with how it looked in 2007 to 2008 from Hendrick to Gibbs, and I went off and won 8 races. So, you know, it's a new challenge. It's a whole new group, but looking forward to it.
Along those same lines, how much will working with a new team just change the way of thinking, the way that you'll approach races, the way the team will approach races, and maybe do things differently than what you were doing last year?
Well, yes, that's kind of the point. I feel like that's what we're all looking for, what we're striving for. And I feel like there was a philosophy shift late last year, especially built around that Texas win that we had. You know, before that Texas car got built, Adam actually came to me and said, hey, what do you want to do for Texas? What kind of car do you want to build? We can go down the path that we've always done this whole year, or we can go down an entirely new path, one we haven't tried yet, and do this. And I was like, we've got nothing to lose. Like, let's go down the entirely new path and see what happens. And lo and behold, we win Texas, you know? So I feel like there was something to that. And I feel like that kind of opened up some eyes around JGR as a whole, and hopefully what we can do in order to get ourselves back into the right frame of mind in order to go out there and have a more successful season as a group, as a 4-car group, not just the 18 team. But also too with just the, you know, seeing Denny running well, and myself and Martin, and obviously Eric Jones kind of struggling. You know, we definitely want to get JGR back up on the peak to go out there and win more races. And this year's schedule is different than last year's schedule. You know, you got more road courses, you got a dirt race in there, you've got less 550 races, more 750 races. So all of that gets thrown into the equation too.
Thanks, Kyle.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Mark Garrow with PRN. Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Kyle. You just spoke about the difference in the schedule. It's you know, now you have almost every 4th race is going to be a road course race in the opening 26 races of the season. Just your thoughts on that many road course events?
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of looked forward to the road courses. You know, I wouldn't say that I've not looked forward to them. It's been kind of trying, I guess, at a few of them where we haven't quite seen the results that we want to be able to see. But, you know, I'm optimistic that we can kind of turn things around a little bit. But knowing there's a couple cars out there that are just super good at road courses right now that we've got a little catch up to do. So, you know, I've never been to Road America, where a lot of these guys that have come up into the Cup ranks the last few years have been in the Xfinity series that has gone there and run at Road America. So you talk about experienced guys or veteran guys kind of having the leg up, if you will. I feel like the tables have turned, you know. Road America wasn't on the schedule when I was in Xfinity, so those guys have had that experience where I have not. So I'm going to be a rookie going to Road America. So that's going to be a little bit getting used to and trying to figure everything out and knowing what to do and stuff like that. COTA, I think a lot of us haven't been there, run on there, seen that place at all. I think some of the other drivers that I've kind of seen a little bit on social media have gone over there and run some Trans Am races and some other stuff just to get track time, just to kind of see the track. Yeah, so I mean, there's going to be a lot of stuff like that you know, guys have different backgrounds and are going to have different experiences once they get there.
You mentioned a couple of cars that were dominant. Chase Elliott's just been kind of lights out on the road courses. Kind of surprised he's been able to kind of separate himself from the pack the way he has, given how tight competition is.
Yes and no. I mean, I kind of am. I've always kind of felt like Hendrick has always had a good road course program. Their affiliation with Chevrolet, obviously, with Pratt & Miller, I feel like is a benefit to those guys. They utilize that pretty well. You know, I'm not exactly sure what it is that makes them successful, but they've got a good road course racing background. I mean, we've seen it for tens of years of success. Jeff Gordon, notably years ago. You know, you had it with Bodine back in the day. That was before Pratt & Miller. But anyways, you know, guys that now Chase has just kind of taken to it and has really done a really good job and been fast. So, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do and trying to put a little bit more emphasis on some road course program in order to get up there and challenge for that victory.
My final question, PRN's first broadcast is Las Vegas. And, you know, again, you guys, as somebody, that's your hometown, that's kind of where you came from. Is there always just a hair more pressure, or I don't know if that's maybe the right word, that you just really grind to want to do well there?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, you know, you always want to do well. I feel like it's, you know, I've won that race before, and just the huge sense of relief that kind of comes off your shoulders when you're able to do that and win at your home track is pretty awesome. You know, Kurt was just able to finally get it done last year, so that was really awesome to see. You know, but I remember mine, I think it was 2009. It's been a long time. You know, just I mean, back at that time, it felt like winning the Daytona 500. You know, I hadn't won as many big races as I have now, or have won as often as I have now. Well, except last year, I only won one. That doesn't count. Scratch that. So the point, though, is, you know, a lot of guys look at the Daytona 500. Everybody puts extra emphasis on the Daytona 500 because it is our sport's biggest race, right? But then you got the guys that all go to their home tracks, and those guys put extra emphasis on their home track, and they want to do well there. So it's just kind of that same philosophy, I think.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Heather Williams. Go ahead, Heather.
Hey, Kyle, kind of following up a little bit on what Lee asked you, what's it been like going through getting Braxton's racing career started and seeing all the first time he's in the car, the first time he won, and just kind of experiencing that with him?
It's been great. I mean, it's been a whole lot of fun. You know, we just, with all this COVID stuff, I don't think it ever would have happened if it wasn't for all the COVID shutdowns and whatnot. But thankfully, the short tracks have been able to stay open. You know, and we've been able to go do some of the racing that he's been able to do. And so we went out to the track the first time just to kind of look at it, check it out, see if he liked it, wanted to do it. And then we borrowed a guy's car, and he let him test it for about a month or so. We just made some laps and stuff. And then we went out and got our own car, and then we put him in a couple races. And it was rough in the beginning, you know, just going 2 laps down in an 8-lap heat race. I mean, that was eye-opening, obviously, but you know, he's really, really grown. You know, when we were, we started about August, September-ish, and then it was like 6 weeks in that he flipped the switch. I mean, he went from getting lapped in the heat races and the main events to then boom, like all of a sudden, just one race, he finished on the lead lap, and you know, he didn't run last and stuff like that. And it was like, wow, okay, we're getting somewhere, we're going, you know, there's improvement. And that's what I've always told him. I'm like, look, man, if we always have improvement and we always are going forward, it's going to be a good thing. You know, that you can't ever just sit there and do the same thing over and over and over again. We've got to improve. We've got to learn. We've got to do the next step better. So he's done that, and it's been real fun to watch. And what's also interesting is, you put out something about your kid wants to go racing and his favorite colors are green and orange, and all of a sudden you have sponsors knocking on the door. So that was pretty cool as well too, with Surf Pro and Crash Racers and Sheets Laundry Club that jumped on with him in order to take his racing level to the next level and get him with all kinds of colors on him. So he looks good, and he's doing good.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Dan Gelston. Go ahead, Dan.
Hey, Kyle, how's it going? Given some concerns of late that, some NASCAR drivers may be too inexperienced to keep in the Cup Series, and then you see a situation like this year where you have a 60-something-year-old in the Daytona 500. Well, how would you like to see NASCAR kind of toughen up its eligibility requirements to compete in Cup?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of an ongoing debate that we've had, the driver council with NASCAR over the last couple of years. And I think they're just continuing to try to keep as many cars and owners in the opportune positions that they can. Obviously, I feel like if you limit it too much, you'll be down less than 36 cars. And so, there's a point to where you've got to have enough cars out there, but, also you want to be the pinnacle of stock car racing in the world, that you'd like to have opportune talent, be in the right cars or in the right position, but that's never going to happen either. There's guys out there that, hey, they might do a good enough job. They might do, and they might be in lower budgeted teams. And if they were in a good car, they would do a good job. Who knows, but life's not always fair. So you just have to get the opportunities that you have and go race with what you got. So I think that's kind of what they're allowing is those opportunities that some people get.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question here from Richard Thompson. Go ahead, Richard.
Oh, hey, thank you, Amanda. Hi, Kyle. Just a quick question. Have you and Denny Hamlin kind of talked strategies, exchanged notes on running the Daytona 500? And what, in your opinion, has made him so successful on that track?
Yeah, so we haven't spoken yet. We've kind of all been in our own isolations, if you will, and haven't been much around each other. But, we do have a team meeting coming up on Monday, I guess, to prepare and get ourselves ready to go for the race season. Typically we always have our post-race meetings. This will be kind of the first pre-race meeting, if you will, of the season. And so we'll have that on Monday. We'll have that opportunity to talk then. But, Denny has done a really, really good job, and I'm not sure how or why or what exactly has gotten him to the success level with this current generation race car at the super speedways, but he's done a really good job with it. Ever since this car kind of came out, especially this body style, I think it was 15 or 16. He's been the guy to beat. He's been the class of the field, him and a couple other guys as well too. So they just kind of get it and understand what it takes in order to do well and be good at this body package. And they got one more year of it. So enjoy it while you can, because it'll change again next year.
Thank you, Kyle.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Greg Engel. Go ahead, Greg.
Hey, Kyle, thanks for answering the questions last week for me like you did. But so I have some follow-ups to that. Rowdy Energy, I know it's going good. I know the background and how it started and how it seems to be going well. But with all the other obligations you got, the truck team, you and Sam's charity, Braxton's budding career, which we've talked about, and not to mention all your Cup stuff that's going on, how hard is it to manage that business?
Fortunately, you try to get the right people in the right places, and, you don't have to do a whole lot around it. Obviously, I have been a huge part of it and been in, 50-something Zoom calls over the course of the last year, trying to get it into different outlets and retailers and stuff like that in order to carry our product. And so it's been going well. It's been going good. But I've got a great CEO, Jeff Church, who's running that program for me. And we've hired on, I think, something like 8 or 12 people just in the last 5 months in order to kind of take that next step and get it into more doors coming into Q1 here this year, and carry that success out throughout this year and get it into more doors next year. A lot of people are taking a chance on us here as a young brand, only being a year old. But you know, we're thankful of that. And of course, there's others that passed on the opportunity, but they know that if we're successful in the markets that we have and the doors that we have, that they'll pick us up as we get going here. So we're looking forward to it. It's certainly had its headaches, but you know, you put good people in good places, and they can do a good job.
And I think I speak for everybody except maybe your competitors. We all want to see you racing for a long time, for years to come. But when the time finally does come for you to step out of the car, how does Rowdy Energy, your company, fit into your end game?
I mean, obviously, yeah, it would certainly be something that you would like to have as an end game. You know, obviously, racing's not going to be forever. When you're done racing, the paychecks stop. They don't continue unless you go into doing TV or something else that's maybe racing related that you can get paid to do. Like, I don't even know what to say. You know, some guys go into, you know, driver counseling or whatever it's called, you know, helping some of these younger guys. But that's definitely not going to pay you a whole lot of money. That's just kind of going to keep you going with your bills and whatnot. But, you know, the Rowdy Energy play is obviously a CPG brand, you know, consumer goods that will get you, you know, if it's successful, can get you to, you know, whether you plan to sell that after 5 or 10 years or whatever and cash out and go on your merry way, or whether you tend to stick with it and keep running it and be a part of the brand, which is what I would like to do. Obviously, it's my name, it's my brand, it's what we started here, Samantha and I and Jeff Church. And so if I can carry that on into the future, I will. And you know, it could happen. I don't know. I'm not going to say it won't happen, but obviously the goal is to one day be as successful as Monster or Red Bull. But in reality, I know that if we're a number 3, 4, 5 brand, top 5 brand, then I would say that we've met our goals and what we know that we can achieve.
Thanks again, Kyle. I really appreciate it last week and today. Have a great season, my friend.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Dustin Albino. Go ahead, Dustin.
Yeah, Kyle, the truck lineup looks a little different this year. What are your expectations for someone like John Hunter, who's dabbled in obviously all 3 series last year, the Cup?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to think that John Hunter is ready to go and get back to victory lane. You know, him and I, we flew together a few times last year, and we talked a little bit about some of the opportunities that he's had and what he's done and what he feels like he's learned and what he's missed out on and what he wants to kind of get back to. So I feel like that was a good opportunity for us to talk and to get him kind of back in the truck series. And fortunately, I think it all came full circle, being able to put Eric Phillips with him and get Eric back. You know, I feel like that's if we didn't have Eric, I don't know where we'd be, but you know, I feel like we're in a pretty good spot. I've always kind of said we need to get a Matt Crafton type guy at Kyle Busch Motorsports, one that can be a guy who can race year after year and race for wins, race for championships, compete, contend, and keep our equipment running up front and doing well. And, you know, since I'm only allowed to run the 5 or so races a year, that only gives me the opportune time to get in the stuff, to kind of talk to the younger drivers about what they're feeling and what's going on. And if you kind of look at past history, the races that I'm in, our drivers tend to run better, you know, but the races that I'm not in, they're kind of all off in la la land, you know. So hopefully John Hunter can kind of help rein that in and be a part of our organization for a long time and go out there and be a guy that can race for wins and race for championships, and also help the development of some of these younger guys. And he is a young guy, but to help the development of some of these younger guys that come up and come in and you know, if they move on and are able to go to the next level, then so be it. But I know John Hunter's going to be itching at the opportunity to have success. And if somebody calls him, you know, he would probably go back up into Xfinity or Cup, but we'll worry about that when the time comes.
Thanks, Kyle.
All right, Kyle, we appreciate your time today. We did not get to all the media who had questions, but thanks for hanging with us, and we wish you the best of luck in the Daytona 500.
You got it. Thank you very much. Looking forward to it.